Zap, zap. Okay, let's do it.
We're recording. You told me that you would do the intro.
Yeah, you didn't get my reference there. That's what starts out Tango and Cash is Stallone voiceover saying, "Okay, let's do it." Anyway, welcome back to Buddies on Buddies, everybody. The show, two real life buddies talking about real life buddy action comedy movies. I'm Kenny Lane.
I'm Lucas Hill.
And we're Buddies on Buddies.
Yeah, they're watching it. They know what they're watching.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Do you want to give a brief history of who we are?
Sure. Yeah. I'm a magic man. Who are you, Lucas?
I'm the one you don't want to see in the dark alley or whatever the fuck.
That's good enough.
Yeah, I think they got it.
All right. Yeah. So what are we covering this week?
We're covering the classic Tango and Cash.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny knows a lot about this movie, a lot more than I do. But we'll get into that first. Let's cover before we really sink our teeth into Tango and Cash. Did you watch anything this week that wasn't Tango and Cash?
Nothing really. I didn't see anything new this week that I can sticking out. I did see this movie St. Vincent starring Bill Murray. It was on Netflix. It creeped into the top 10 somehow. I never seen it before. Have you seen that? Is
that the one with Melissa McCarthy?
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not see it. It just seemed anyway. But how was it?
No good. I was kind of excited. I was like, I haven't checked out a Bill Murray comedy that's not like a Wes Anderson thing in a long time. And I was kind of like, oh, it'll be nice, but it's one of those where you know exactly where it's going in the first 5 minutes, and it goes there, and it's pretty schmaltzy. It's the Bill Murray's the curmudgeon next door who's this old cranky dude, and this young boy who's a bully, moves next door, and the
single mom.
Whatever.
So it's basically Karate Kid without the karate.
Karate Kid or Bad Santa, a little like watered down Bad Santa. I mean, we've seen this shit a million times.
El Torino.
Gran Torino, you mean?
Gran Torino. El Torino's a car.
Yeah.
I'm on point today.
Is it El Torino or El Camino or?
I don't know.
Whatever.
I'm not a car guy.
We're both gearheads, as you can see.
I spent my childhood smoking pot and watching movies, so I was never really got into cars.
Couldn't afford one.
I had my sister hand me down Ford Escort with the door tied on with a rope. So yeah, I would never really get into cars. Yeah.
I rocked the Escort too in high school. Yeah. So we're Escort guys. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We were definitely the big blonde bullies of our school with our badass Escorts.
That's right. Slapping glasses off guys and smacking their books out of their hands and saying, "What you reading, bitch?" Yeah, that's us.
I've read that. It's pretty good.
Have you tried Faulkner?
I don't read fiction. I saw I saw Nuts.
You saw Nuts, that Barbra Streisand movie?
Barbra Streisand, Richard Dreyfuss movie.
Are you going through like a Barbra Streisand phase? Because this is like the second or third time lately that you've brought up like Mirror Has Two Faces, The Way We Were. Like what is this on? Is this your picks or what's going on here?
They're my picks, knowing my wife will also like them, and I just wanted to go down. Like if you watch a lot of movies, you sometimes gravitate to an artist and hit a bunch of their movies. Plus, I remember these movies as a kid, never saw them, but they were always in the atmosphere. I was like, what if I watch one of these motherfuckers? And then, but it started with The Way We Were, because The Way We Were is a phenomenal film. The rest are of diminishing returns. Nuts is probably the worst of them, because it's based off a play and it's a courtroom drama. I predicted it like 5 minutes in, and then, but I hope they don't. And then they did that. I'm like, okay. But Richard Dreyfuss is great in it. She plays a prostitute. It's very honest.
Prostitute. Yeah. Is it worth seeing or?
I can't recommend it unless you're a Barbra Streisand stan like I am. I can't recommend it.
Is this because you're like turned 40 and now you like appreciate Barbra Streisand, or
no?
What is this about, this whole Barbra Streisand phase?
I turned 40 and I can appreciate anything now. I'm no longer too cool for anything,
Obviously.
Yeah. But actually she's done some pretty good work. She's done some really good work.
Hey, I can leave or take Barbra Streisand. I haven't gone down the Streisand rabbit hole like you have.
That's the thing. That
could be it. That could be it.
And when you do, we'll re-meet on the other end of that hole and have a conversation. Well, it'll be like the Peach and Shawshank Redemption.
We'll meet up for tea and crumpets and talk about our favorite Barbara Streisand moments.
That's toxic masculinity. Talking of toxic masculinity, did you watch the Oscars?
Oh boy, did I see the Oscars? Yeah. Did you? Hey, did you? This is about 5 days afterwards. Have you heard? Did you hear about what happened?
Here's what happened, gang.
Yeah, we'll break it down for you.
What are your brief thoughts on the only thing that matters about the Oscars besides Coda winning, which is pretty out of left field, but I haven't seen it, so I can't judge. What do you think about Will Smith smacking Chris Rock?
Oh, what do you think about that? Well,
that's all anybody cares about. Real quick.
Yeah, that's all anybody cares about. Real quick. Yeah, I thought his joke was stupid. I thought him getting up there and smacking him was stupid. Ultimately, I think it's probably the best thing to happen to the Oscars because everyone's finally talking about the Oscars, and it's probably a good thing for like Will Smith, just because they'll probably launch into this like Liam Neeson, Harrison Ford like era where he's protecting his family in these action movies, and I think it's a great thing to happen to Chris Rock since his like new like special about talking about it's gonna like his last two specials sold on Netflix for like $40 million. And I just saw this news thing on Boston last night where he was at a stand-up show, like there was a huge crowd outside. Just like it was already sold out. They were just like waiting to he's a new big hot ticket in town about him talking about. So everybody basically won.
It's starting to smell like you're on the conspiracy theorist side of this thing.
I don't think it was planned. No, I don't think it was planned. I think it was just something that happened. But I think everyone's going to benefit from it, which I think, of course, would launch people into thinking that it was some sort of conspiracy.
Yeah, it's to me, it's just so fucking stupid. It's not. I just don't fucking care so much. I've gotten to that point, like where I'm open-minded about Barbara Streisand movies, but don't give a shit about the Oscars.
I'm too busy watching Barbara Streisand. I can't watch Will Smith fucking Chris Rock.
I took a nap and I woke up and Mary's like something happened at the Oscars, and I was there like, oh no. No, I'm going to have to hear about this.
What were you thinking, like a mass shooting or something?
No, I just knew it was some bullshit, like exactly what happened, and I was going to have to hear about it constantly for weeks upon weeks, and it's been that and worse. Like
oh yeah,
I want to not care. I didn't care the day of. I don't care now, and it's just everybody has a take on it. My take is let's quit having takes.
Takes. Yeah, just leave it alone. Everyone from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Jim Carrey has weighed in on it now, and there's more important things in the world. Yeah, I knew when it happened because I like kind of pulled Megan's arm to watch the Oscars. She had zero interest in it, but she said she was glad she did because now she can kind of say, well, I saw it live when it happened. That was kind of neat. But yeah, the Oscars have been just irrelevant for so long now, and they're increasingly irrelevant. And that was probably a highlight, I guess you can call it that, but yeah, there's much more important things going on than the Oscars or someone getting slapped at the Oscars. So yeah,
maybe I'd be more into it if I saw it live, because the last time I saw the Oscars, which was the first time in a long time, the Moonlight thing happened, and I was like, oh, that was fun. I'm glad I got to watch that because I love Warren Beatty and stuff. And I was like, oh, he's fucking with them. And I was like, no, it was a big mistake. I was like,
yeah. Yeah, I remember that happened too. I was like, oh, this is planned, or it's not planned, but because everything in the Oscars is planned. It's like, daytime talk shows. It's like, like there's no reality creeping in until it does. And it's like, everyone just kind of sits there panicked, like, oh my God, what's happening?
But I'm glad we got to cover it. Everybody was waiting for Buddies on Buddies take on that. And
oh yeah,
now we can put the issue to rest, and no one ever has to talk about it ever again.
You got that, internet?
You got that, society?
We have given it the definitive take. There's no longer any need for memes or GIFs or any of that shit.
We come in at the end and just kill it. We walk away, our heads held high.
We came here to bury it, and we did. So that's you'll never hear anything more about
it. Great. You want to give us the plot of the classic 80s action romp Tango and Cash?
Tango and Cash from 1989, directed by, I'm going to butcher this, Andrei Chankalovsky, starring Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell. So the plot essentially is the two best but rival cops in Los Angeles are set up by a big crime lord, and they go to prison, and they have to break out and then figure out who set them up and take them down. That's essentially the I don't want to call it high concept, maybe low concept plot of this movie.
What did you think of Tango and Cash?
Well, I probably, safe to
Not
say,
past you. What did this viewing? We'll
this
get
viewing,
into, yeah, like what did you
this
get out
viewing,
of this
this,
viewing? Not what you learned, what'd you get out of, like, what, oh, if you could put this viewing on an
uh
island
huh.
separate from your
I
nostalgia and all that.
I would say this viewing reminded me that I ruin movies by watching them too many times, and I've probably seen this one about a dozen times now. So I don't think I need to see it again, at least for a long, long time. I still enjoyed it. It's kind of I won't even say it's really a guilty pleasure, even though it is really silly. I think it's very the production values are really high, and you got two guys kind of at the top of their game, two actors I really like. So there's a lot to like about it. There's a lot to pick apart too. So how about you? What you kind of think overall?
Like I'm not nearly as familiar. I definitely saw it as a kid, but I didn't remember. I remember some of the big sweeping things, but I didn't remember a lot of it. Like
Sure.
for some reason, I remembered the prison being high tech. It was the opposite of that. So I was like mixing that with Face
Yeah.
Off or something. So that's
Yeah.
how
So I was
like
thinking maybe Face Off.
not how plugged into this movie I was. It's fucking ridiculous, and sometimes in good ways, sometimes it's not.
Right.
But it's always entertaining. It's never not
Yeah.
entertaining. Even when it's bad, it's still fun bad.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch Stallone play this character. It's his most departure. He's still an action star, but he's the button up, really good with money or some whatever shit. And then which they just
Yeah.
stole in
He.
Bad Boys. All right, now I'm
Right.
pulling a you and
He.
Ramley. Go ahead.
Well, he really he talked about this a lot in interviews at the time on like the behind the scenes stuff where this is a major departure for him. And I'll give it to him. It's not like Steven Seagal plays the exact same fucking role in every movie he does. So he was trying to branch out a little bit, even though the genre is basically what he's been working in, the whole time. But yeah, this I would say like it's not the best 80s buddy action, movie, but it might be the most 80s buddy action movie. It's like Burt Reynolds' best movie is probably Deliverance, but like the most Burt Reynolds movie is Smokey and the Bandit Part 2. So that's kind of where I rank this as like almost the epitome or the culmination or something of the 80s, buddy cop action comedy thing.
I was kind of enjoying it until they got out of prison, and that's when it really falls apart completely. Like
Really?
it goes way into silly territory. Well,
Oh,
first
sure, yeah.
they break up, they part ways. It's like
Right. You never like that when you split the guys up. Yeah.
well, no, yeah, you know what movie doesn't do that? Midnight Run.
Yeah.
You know,
Right. Yeah. They are chained together the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind brief, but it's like they just got a prison. Now let's see them go to the streets and hide and use all their resources. They just prance around the streets, the two most infamous people in the world, and like without a disguise.
Yeah, it's nothing makes sense in this movie at all. This is one of these that like there's not a goddamn thing that has to do with reality basically in this movie, but it's very entertaining. I would say though that I liked them being split up just for the fact of Stallone confronting that cop that set them up in his apartment or his house, just because this line that he says to him that he just has to spit out so fast. I'll try to do it, but he's like he confronts him in the kitchen. There's a bowl of pasta there, and he's like, "It looks like you're not too busy counting calories. Could it be that you're too busy counting the money you receive for setting us up?" But he says it a lot faster in that like
That's
Stallone
great.
thing.
No, you did great. No, okay, that was
Yeah.
great. That was impressive.
Yeah.
And I love
Good.
that scene alone. Like everything's so big and crazy, and they just find this guy in his house eating leftover pasta, and he just rails on his health choices.
Then the house explodes.
Yeah.
Well,
and like the audio guy who has this insane audio setup of all this movie bullshit, which is really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, once it gets into the Q guy, or not Q.
Oh yeah,
Q, right?
he's James Bond's Q, but from him and stuff. He gives him like a key that looks like a switchblade or something, or a bullet. It's like a bullet, but it turns into like a everything key. And then there's that gun boot that Kurt Russell has at the beginning. How the fuck does that work? Like, how do you have like a shotgun in your boot that you just pull a thing and it fires? Like, what? But yeah, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions in this movie. I bet did you read about is that a very troubled production going on?
Before we get
read
into
anything
the
about that?
production and stuff, because I want
Yeah.
to let's talk a little bit more about the movie itself.
Okay. All right.
We can just move in towards the climax there. The Jack Palance building a giant rat maze.
Well, that, and then he has this whole like monster truck like center outside his pad for ramps and jumps and stuff for no fucking reason. But yeah, his plan about, rats in a cage, guys in a maze, or something like that. Like, it makes no goddamn sense. And then how he breaks into prison to confront
Yeah.
them somehow, and at that point they don't even know he's involved. Uh, yeah, I don't know. And one guy pointed out that, I think it was Nathan Rabin. He pointed out that like every piece of dialogue Jack Palance has, he reads it like he's coming. He's like, rats in a cage. Oh, like he has that breathless like whisper like Tango and gosh. I don't know. I can't do it, but
He's
yeah.
great. No, you're doing it great. You're undermining yourself. You do.
All right, I'm doing the best impressions of Stallone and Jack Palance I can. But do you do a Palance or a Stallone?
One thing. One. There's one thing. So yeah, I do.
Dude, not bad, not bad.
I don't do Stallone. I mean, I can do a generic one, but everybody can.
Mhm.
The car too was horribly underused. They show the Gatling gun, and they never use it. You shoot now.
Well,
give him the Gatling gun, you fool.
Well, I have a theory. There's a lot of things that are kind of introduced and thrown away. A lot of jumping around and stuff. And I know we'll say we want to talk about the production later. But yeah, this movie has
I have one more thing
so
with the
many
climax.
fillers. Yeah.
The mob bosses who are poo-pooing Pounce's plan the whole time, and he keeps threatening them. Then they're up in the office with him. Tango and Cash have decimated his entire army. They're coming up, and they're like, "Don't worry." And he throws the other old elderly criminal guy a gun. Now they're dead. And they just come in and unceremoniously just kill the two guys. Like, why did you think you were gonna?
Oh yeah, nothing fucking makes it. And also, I just noticed all these like the bad guys in these like 80s movies. Like, there's one main bad guy that talks, and the other ones just stand there in suits smoking and like these super like, neon lights blinking off these offices and stuff. It's just these guys just in suits, just standing there like smoking, just nodding and stuff. Like, this is how the business goes down with these really evil guys, I guess.
But no, absolutely batshit crazy movie. We can go to the production side of it. I liked the first half hour or so. It was entertaining, in a stupid way, and like the city cop versus the Beverly Hills cop.
Well, and Carrie, our friend Carrie, pointed this out. I remember one time when we watched it, like, we both lived in Los Angeles. When does any cop get front page news? Like, and they name him. Like,
when they're a serial killer, that's the only time.
Yeah, maybe, but like the serial killers it's not like Officer Jones does it again. Officer Bob, breaks it down. Like, they never give like big props to the detective on the case or anything.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were trying to make this into like a superhero movie with the gadgets and the car and stuff to sell toys or something. Like, and then it just never happened. But talk a little bit about the production, because it was a very, very, very messy production.
Very troubled production. So the original director, the Russian director Andrei Konchalovsky, I keep saying his name. I'll say him Andre. He had done. No one cares. He had did this movie, The Runaway Train, that came out a couple years before with John Boyd. It was kind of like a philosophical action movie. It's not bad. It's worth it checking out. But they got him to do this one. But by the time the movie was over, they figured there was like 3 or 4 different, you could call it, directors on the production, because it just turned into a clusterfuck, constant rewrites. They started shooting without a finished script. They fired Andre, and brought in the director of like Purple Rain, like, I think like 3/4 of the way before it was over.
Which is a crazy choice, because I looked into that director's.
Well, yeah,
he hasn't done anything but print stuff. Like,
well, it's hard to bring on a director like when you're almost done with a movie, because they know they're walking into like a shit show. So, and like Stallone had a big reputation at the time for just taking over movies completely. So he was basically like doing a lot of that too. I think Stallone had fired Barry Sonnenfeld, was the cinematographer, and replaced, because he wasn't being lit right. That was his thing. And then, so there was a lot of shit going on like that. And then when they finally turned in like the first cut of it or whatever to Warner Brothers hated it. and they brought in like the editor guru Stuart Baird and his team just completely re-edit the movie entirely. So that's why I think there's a lot of like things like introduced, not explained, scenes that just kind of, like they start up and go. It's a very kind of cut and paste movie, I think.
An entertaining one. Interestingly, I researched the screenwriter. Did you know he wrote the teleplay for Lonesome Dove?
Again? Really?
This guy's everywhere.
Yeah, how many writers did that fucking show have? Like,
no, there's definitely, you can totally tell it's a vanity project. I was surprised by how much Sylvester Stallone gave up to Kurt Russell, with as vain as he is. You would think there'd be bigger egos on set, but it felt like there was a lot of give and take between the leads.
Well, they, I don't know how they are, but they seem to be really good buddies because, I guess like he when Tombstone was happening, like I guess Kurt Russell ended up firing the director on Tombstone, like taking it over, and he was constantly calling up Stallone for advice. One of them being like hire George P. Cosmatos because he's basically just an overrated AD, and Stallone's been trying to get Kurt Russell in the Expendables movies since like the second or first one. So I think they have it. They're kind of buddies and stuff. But yeah, it's not like a Stallone just completely overshadows Kurt Russell. It's a kind of a 50-50 movie for the most part,
What about all the homoerotic jokes and stuff?
I was wondering about that because I thought that we'd cover like the homoeroticism stuff at Buddy Action Comedies. There hasn't been a lot, well, since Partners, of course, which is
that doesn't count
in all the bad ways, but there hadn't really been a lot until this movie. And I was like, oh, okay, now we're getting into like the homoerotic kind of shit with like the shower scene, of course, where he calls him Pee-wee, and then he calls it, Kurt Russell calls Stallone Pee-wee, then he calls him Tripod afterwards.
They're just they're just buddying around.
Well, I think Pee-wee means you have a small penis, tripod means like you have
a big penis,
a big dick. So do you think Stallone was like, you can't leave it with just Pee-wee, you gotta call me Tripod too? Or I don't know, what were you thinking in that scene?
I wasn't thinking anything. I was enjoying the scenery, man.
I was just staring at some ass. Yeah.
Oh man, are you kidding me? What was I thinking? What do you think I was thinking of?
Yeah, I was thinking, hot piece of junks right here. I did see how that.
I was thinking, I wish I was arrested and thrown into prison. Is what I was thinking.
Yeah, meet those guys. The on IMDb trivia, like they pointed out that like Stallone like walks in with like his gold chains into prison. Those would have been confiscated before he walked in. You can't just walk in with like fucking gold chains and shit. And yeah, a lot of the prison break sequence, I think, is the best sequence in the whole movie. I think that's actually a really well made, well edited sequence and stuff.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I especially like when the guy gets electrocuted, he just yells out Tango.
This is his last words.
Yeah.
I was also kind of impressed with the first courtroom scene. It's like, I'm no legal expert, but I watched them on YouTube.
Right.
I was like, oh, they're following for this type of movie. It's not so outlandish, And
right.
And then they get transported to a different prison. Like, that would never happen. That's impossible.
Well, they had the guys on the inside legal stuff fucking with them and stuff like that. But
still, remarkably impossible.
Right. I do like when they are somewhat realistic about what happens in courtrooms. I was watching like A Few Good Men like a week or two ago, and like watching that whole scene with Jack Nicholson like yelling at Tom Cruise like, is that clear? Is that clear? It's like you're not allowed to ask the prosecution questions when you're on the stand, let alone like yell questions at them. So.
We're even in Nuts, which is a heavy drama. Mary and I kept going, no, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Can't do that.
Yeah, this is wrong. This would never fly.
But yeah. The best is in Untouchables when the lawyer at the end says, my client would like to change his plea to guilty.
Everybody cheers.
And Al Capone's like, what? No, I don't. Like some lawyer's going to just yell out like, he changes his plea. Like you get disbarred like that,
And do you have anything else you want to add about Tango and Cash? What was your favorite part about it? Like your favorite elements?
I'm a big Kurt Russell fan. I think he kind of elevates every movie he's in, even the shitty ones like Captain Ron or something. Like, I think there's something about him that he's enjoying what he does for a living or something, and it kind of comes through. And I'm a big Stallone fan too. I think he always gives like effort. There's no like real wink wink shit about him. He's always, very earnest when he's there. So I really like the pairing up of these guys. Like I said, I am a fan of guilty pleasure buddy action movies, and this is a very silly, very dumb, over the top movie, but I don't even really consider it a guilty pleasure. I just enjoyed this one.
If I were to be asked that question, I would pick the actor who plays the tech guy. He makes so many crazy choices just from an acting perspective, where he's like, oh, yeah, okay, like he's just eating up the frame.
That's Michael J. Pollard. Yeah.
He's great in everything, but obviously limited things you can cast him in. Because I always loved him from what's it called? The Christmas Carol one with Scrooged. He's
Scrooged,
a very funny, weird part in that.
Fun fact about that guy, Michael J. Fox, his middle name doesn't even start with J, but he couldn't because of like SAG rules or whatever. He couldn't be Michael Fox.
Because there's already
Michael Fox. Changed. There's like Michael Fox, but he changed his name to Michael J. Fox because he was such a fan of Michael J. Pollard. So that's cool. That's where he got the J in his middle name.
So Michael J. Fox and myself have the same taste in
same taste in actors. Yeah. Nice to know.
So what would you give this? What buddy rating would you give this bad boy?
I'd have to give Tango Cash just 5 out of 5, just because one of my go-to. I can watch this. Well, maybe not anymore. This was such a reminder. I don't want to see this movie anymore. But yeah. But if everything about it, like from the opening shot of like the okay, let's do it, to the Tango Cash, to that middle chase scene, to him slamming his convertible and just pulling out the gun and the guys flying through the truck. It's just such a over the top 80s movie that I love it.
And as a movie, what would you give it?
Oh, like 2.5 or 3 out of 5 maybe, but but as far as like 80s buddy action movies, I'd have to recommend it to anyone that's a fan. Absolutely.
Before I give mine, how did it do at the box office?
It did okay, but it went $20 million over budget, which at the time, that was like when most movies cost around 30 million. That was a shitload. I mean, it'd be almost like going like $100 million over budget now. So it made like 55 million or maybe like, 80 or 90 total, but it probably like maybe made a little more than broke even, after all said and done. So it was probably in the top like 15, 20 box office movies of that year, but that doesn't mean much because the budget went so out of control.
And another thing before I give my rating, I wanted to mention that dance club. I've lived in LA a long time. I've seen it all, baby. I haven't been everywhere, but I've been to a lot of places. That place don't exist.
Like Terry Hatcher just banging on those drums. Well, I thought this was like a strip club. I was like, is this one of those movie strip clubs where like the women just keep their tops on and like, what the hell's going on?
But yeah, and then they had the gratuitous titty shot where he goes to the backstage.
Oh, he has to go backstage and there's like 3 naked chicks.
Yeah. There you go. Let's get on with the movie. As a buddy action movie, I'll give it 4.5 out of 5 because it is it is a buddy action comedy. The chemistry between the two. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, do you want to?
So you did enjoy this?
I did enjoy it. The chemistry was good. The one-liners were stupid and jockey, but whatever. You're not going to get both great action and great comedy very rarely. And
right.
How could you not enjoy this? It's dumb, but it's fucking highly entertaining. It's a riot. It's a movie you would call it's a riot. But I get critics at the time watching and going, "What the fuck is this piece of shit?"
Oh yeah. Especially critics that are tired of these silly buddy action comedies, and I think they're trying to make like the ultimate one with this one. And on that level, it kind of succeeds. But I could definitely see why people think it's bad because it kind of it is. But
was this
whatever?
Before
it's a lot of fun.
Fairlane?
This was a year before Ford Fairlane. Same producer. Well, no, not same producer. Well, John Peters did this one. This was kind of like his baby. That super producer. Bradley Cooper plays in Licorice Pizza. But then, this was like all that era of just, total excess. And you can just, I mean, you can almost smell the cocaine like
Yeah.
coming off the screen on this movie.
There's nothing
Yeah,
touching the ground at all. It's all fucking just fucking do it,
just fucking go for broke. Let's just go nuts,
As a movie, I'm probably with you. I'd probably give it a 2 out of 5 though, but pretty close. Our ratings are pretty close this time.
Yeah. But I don't even know if I need to rate movies on a real scale anymore for this thing. I'll just say like how I feel or how I rate the buddy action comedy for
Again,
I would
we're
say
not talking if you have a production note, we're gonna do that off camera. I can't be blindsided with these rules changes
crazy
when we're on camera. Yeah, because then you put me in this tough spot because I can't yell at you because I'm on camera.
Why can't you yell at me?
You're just fucking rules on me, motherfucker.
Oh, no, America hates you. You've just been Will Smith.
The Academy's gonna ban me. God damn it. I haven't even won anything yet.
They're not gonna ban him. They're not gonna do anything.
Who gives a shit what they do? It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything.
No,
he's gonna be fine. Look, the movie he won the Oscar for sucked. He hasn't made a good movie.
Saw it.
No, I've just heard things. I can tell by I can tell when they made a movie about the Venus sisters and they made it all about their dad, that it was a bad idea and a shitty movie.
If you want to hear someone shit on King Richard, just go a couple buddies on buddies back and listen to my little rant about it for 10 minutes or however long I went. Yeah. Dial that up.
But no, I would never watch that unless I was on a plane and all the other movies were broken or something. I don't know.
Well, I did like his speech was very like, I'm here to protect my family, and then all this other shit. His tears are flowing. He just goes on for like 10 fucking minutes. They never cut him off, and I was just like, wow, this is some really self-indulgent. I don't know. He might have just been famous for too long. He was really famous, really, really young.
Yeah.
Like 19, 18, 17 or something. He was a rapper. So he could be one of those that's just he's been just in this like too famous, too long, and his head's all. I don't want to get too like psychological. That's a weird thing about the internet. Yeah. They've all got these takes on like their relationship and like all this other shit. Like, who the fuck knows what's going on in his head or what's like his wife and his relationship is? That's the weird thing for me, to seeing all these like articles about like inside their relationship. Like, what?
And I have some pity for him. That's a shitty night. And that's supposed to be a highlight of his life, and it's the shittiest night of his life.
It's not the shittiest night. He won the Oscar. He had to go on for 10 minutes. And he smacked a dude that was dissing his wife. Whatever.
Yeah, not that he doesn't deserve it or whatever. It doesn't matter. You have to have some empathy, even though they're rich and have an Oscar. Like,
why would you have empathy for him? Like, I don't know.
He's a human being. He probably has feelings. He's probably made a mistake, and now he's being crushed under the weight of it. I mean, you're like Denzel Washington and Tyler Perry comforting him after he smacked Chris Rock, and Chris Rock's in the back, like everyone's like, I don't give a fuck. Like he's like, no, Will, it's okay. You're right. Why are we comforting Will Smith? I tend to gravitate towards strong people. Okay, so you're right.
Abusers. Yeah. Let's cover the bully, not the guy he fucking smacked.
Hey, how you doing? That was rough, huh? The whole school was watching. You okay?
Yeah.
Beat them pretty good. They don't like that though, did they? No.
Yeah, I'm here for you. I'm here for you if you need comfort. After you just kick someone's ass. Yeah.
You got to start latching your coattails on the power, my friend.
Yeah, I guess so. That's the MO. Now I understand.
So some stand up.
Do you think that other people are going to attack stand-ups now because of the whole like?
No, that's stupid.
I want to be a Will Smith.
Everybody's going to be empowered to go to the stage and beat up stand-ups. I'm going
to be next Will Smith.
That's so dumb. All the comedians react like, oh, our jobs, our lives, we're not safe anymore. It's like, shut the fuck up.
I can't make Jada Pinkett Smith jokes anymore. Oh shit! I can't do hacky audience work anymore. Oh no!
They're just gonna make more Jada Pinkett. I don't know. It's so dumb. Like, So before we move on, what did you learn from Tango and Cash?
I learned that I can burn out even movies I like and just be kind of like, okay,
maybe you're just getting old
ever again. I could be just getting old. I mean, I haven't gone through my Barbra Streisand phase yet, but you are like 9 months older than me or something. So maybe I'll hit that
There's only a handful of movies, so you can get it pretty quick.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I've gone through a lot of different faces, Robert Mitchum and all this other stuff, but never thought about Barbara Streisand. But it might be my favorite ever. So who knows?
What about a woman creator? Have you ever gone through a phase of
a woman creator,
filmmaker, producer, actor, singer? She does it all, baby.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone through a woman creator who does it all?
Not really.
What about a man sexist creator? Yeah, that's what I was. Gotcha. Got it. You heard it here first. Kenny Lane.
Yeah, Texas. He got me. I only believe that men can create art, and that's the only true art. And if I'm wrong, then
I don't want to be right.
I don't want to be right. Yeah. No, I will. I'll say though, I'm listening to a lot more female singers now. Does that count? I don't know. Like I noticed on my Spotify, I'm getting more and more in there.
Good for you. Yeah.
Hey, progress, man. I'm not progress. Give me a little credit. Like I didn't notice that the other day. I
don't know. This is what I have to work with. I'm just kidding. No, I'm a huge sexist too.
Yeah.
Good art's good
I'd
art.
high five you right now if I
could. Okay, I think we've exhausted this. I know I'm sweating.
Yeah.
Do we want to
bullets get into this the sexism talk?
Do we want to go into what we're going to cover? Whoa. Oh, cool.
All right. Cable unplugged. There we go.
All right.
Is that better?
Yeah, I was just checking out the posters you can't see normally,
Oh, which ones can you not see?
What was?
Should we do a whole thing?
Not a whole thing.
We got I got John Wayne next to Prince up there.
What's the one in the top right?
Wayne Newton live or
no,
Frank Sinatra? Well, Frank Sinatra, Songs for Swinging Lovers.
The couple about to kiss. That's Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra, yeah. Songs for Swinging Lovers, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
What
are we doing next week?
Well, first, what did I learn?
Oh, yes. What did you learn?
That I learned about that Michael J. Fox story, and I didn't know that before, so that's what I learned. Yeah, what are we doing next week?
Take that to your grave. That story. Don't let it out.
Every time Michael J. Fox is on something, I'm going to go, the actor.
Hey, everybody. Yeah. One thing I know is people love really useless movie trivia while you're watching TV. Megan's a huge fan of that.
Well, if you're anything like me, you don't
you know?
Yeah, so you go to, I always do the pretentious thing. I go, do you know who that is?
Oh, you start with a,
yeah.
I bet you don't.
No, it's not that. Do you know what they're from? And I sit and wait, no, I don't. That's the mom from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. That's definitely an old guy thing to do. That guy was in Police Academy 3 as the new recruit. What does that add to anything? And does anyone give a fuck?
No, but I still do it. It does nothing here.
I'm
gotta come
I'm
out.
I'm compelled to do it. I can't not say that lady was in that.
All right, what are we doing next week?
We're gonna do the 2002 film Showtime, starring Robert De Niro and Eddie Murphy.
We want to do something modern. Neither of us know this movie. We're pretty sure
a little modern. It's still 20 years old, but we've been doing 80s and 90s movies, so we thought something from this millennium might be a little better. So we have
a few out there that care. We're going to start doing when new buddy action movies come out. We're going to start covering some of those as they come out. So that's exciting.
So hold on to your butts. Here we go with that. Yeah.
And remember, guys, this is episode 11. We're just getting warmed up.
Oh boy, yeah. We got you wet. We're gonna bend over and
Jesus, hold on. Jesus Christ! All this, Jesus fucking Christ!
These things are strong. Fuck.
That's a little taste of Kenny's humor when the camera's not on.
Hey, you gotta go blue these days, for the kids. They love the blue.
All right, well, that's it until next week, if there is a next week. I'm Lucas.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm Kenny Lane.
We're buddies. Bye, buddies.